Hey guys, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup and Grady Hooker on FreeFM 89.0, real community radio. So we'll go with this day in history. Two different pay-per-views happened this day in history. We got Unforgiven in Your House in 1998. First ever Inferno match in WWF. The Undertaker took on Kane with Paul Bearer on his side. Paul Bearer gave a steel chair to Kane, only for Undertaker to grab it and use it on Kane. Taker chased Paul Bearer and put his head through a drum that was up on the live music stage. And as Taker walked back down, he delivered a big boot, forcing Kane to fall backwards onto the flames and making his right arm catch fire. And so Undertaker came out victorious on the first ever Inferno match. The main event of the night was the WWF Championship match. Stone Cold Steve Austin went into it with the champion, defending against Dude Love. Austin hit the special guest ref Vince McMahon with a steel chair, and then Stone Cold stunned Dude Love and counts his own 1, 2, 3. Austin celebrates, but Gerald Briscoe announced he's DQ'd, but luckily he still retained his title. The second pay-per-view that happened this day in history was Backlash 2009. The WWE Championship was on the line in a 6-man tag match, with The Legacy taking on Triple H, Batista, and Shane McMahon. For Legacy 1, Randy Orton was the champ. The match centered around Legacy isolating every member of their opponents. Orton ended up hitting an RKO on Triple H, but he managed to kick out. Orton then hit a punt kick on Triple H and pinned him to win the title. Triple H was taken out on a stretcher after that match. Then John Cena defended his title against Edge in a last man standing match. The match degenerated to the outside, with Edge and Cena fighting with multiple weapons. They made their way up to the stage, and they got interrupted by their other WrestleMania opponent for The Big Show. He lifted up Cena and chokeslammed him through a spotlight that exploded. Cena was then unable to make the 10 count, so Edge won the title for the 5th time, and Cena was also taken out of the arena on a stretcher. So I'll flick you on over to our classic entrance theme of the week, the Corporate Ministries theme. So that was the Corporate Ministries song. You're back with Grady Hooker on Wrestling Roundup. I'm live here with Josh via Skype. Hey Josh.
Hey, this is Josh from America.
So we'll crack straight into what happened on Raw. What did you think of the handicap match with Randy Orton and Sheamus taking on Big Show?
Actually, I thought it was a fairly decent match.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by the super IED DDT that Orton hit on the Big Show.
Yeah, from the top rope.
Yeah, from the top rope rather than it being from the middle rope like usual.
Yeah. I think this match could have been better, but it did what it was meant to do.
Yeah. That particular moment and the electric chair drop from Sheamus,
Yes.
always impressive, as well as the brogue kick RKO combo.
Yeah.
Was pretty impressive as well.
Orton and Sheamus are definitely showing a lot of teamwork lately in their matches, but it's probably from wrestling so many times together.
Yeah, to the point where you would have a crowd like New Jersey on them.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll jump on into the next one, the segment where 3MB called out the Shield only to get Brock Lesnar.
Oh, dear. Oh, boy. Well, it's at least they're on TV. That's what they could say.
Yeah.
I mean, they might not be winning. They might be getting their hind ends handed to them every week. But at least they're on TV. Something that wasn't happening before they formed this group.
Yes. I think they would have been better had the Shield come out. I think the commentators said that multiple times. But I think Lesnar's challenge to Triple H was not too surprising, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to see that for the 3rd time.
I'm hoping they throw in some weapons. That might be the only thing that can save it. Because I'm not interested in a steel cage match, even if it is going to be between these two people that will destroy each other inside that structure.
I already saw them go at it one-on-one. I've seen them go at it no holds barred. What's the cage going to bring that's gonna make it exciting.
The only way that a cage would have is if they skipped the tiny steel cage and went straight for the Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, that could have, because then you can get the weapons from under the ring. So.
Yeah. Other than that, I've seen it before.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I do want to say I really on two folds here. I really enjoyed the F5s on Slater but I also felt sorry for him.
Fair enough. Those looked pretty painful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to the World Heavyweight Championship, the match that never really happened. Alberto trying to get his rematch clause against Ziggler, but then Swagger and stuff coming out and...
Looks like you're skipping the United States Championship match.
Oh, see, that's what happens when you jump rope. Yep. The US Championship match. Kofi Kingston taking on Antonio Cesaro, with Kofi coming out on top and taking the title off Cesaro. It was good to see Kofi Kingston get a title again after all his...
Yeah, but it's a mid-card title again.
It's better than no title.
Yeah, true. I was still waiting for them to put the tag titles on him.
Gotta wait for Evan Bourne or someone to come back for that.
Yeah, they had R-Truth available.
True. Okay, so we'll move on to what I was talking about before, the World Heavyweight Championship picture. The Ziggler, Del Rio, Swagger, everybody wants a shot at the title.
I will say this. The world title, which has been around for 20 years, this particular version.
Yep.
It looks tailor-made to fit around Dolph Ziggler's waist.
Okay.
It looks like it was meant to be there.
Okay. What do you think of the three of them?
I think the three of them, given the proper amount of time, they'll put on a pretty good match at Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
This segment was solely for purposes of setting up the triple threat match, which got announced later on in the show.
Yeah. But not only do you have these three great wrestlers in the ring, you've got Big E Langston, AJ Lee, Ricardo Rodriguez, and Zeb Coulter all on the outside.
Yeah, I think AJ's going to be a little busy, but that's another discussion for next week.
Fair enough. The match that we've seen about 100 times, Primetime Players versus Team Hell No.
The one thing that I got out of this match is it looks like the Primetime Players have a new shirt, and nobody cares.
No, nobody cares. I've literally seen the Primetime Players lose to Team Hell No at least 8 times in the past couple of months. Straight after that, what do you think of the Ryback promo?
I thought it was a very, very good promo. I really enjoyed the fact that they let him show some of his emotion, and he did it pre-taped so that there wouldn't be any errors or mistakes.
Yeah, if he'd made like one little error, that would have ruined it completely. Because he's trying to get off, I'm this massive force, I hate Cena, I'm going to completely steamroll him for that title.
Yeah. And the one thing I had the most problem with, and it's a nitpicky thing, was just the very end when he did the Ryback rules.
Yeah.
thing. But that's really just a nitpicky type of thing.
Fair enough.
It kind of akins back to the whole who's next type thing from Goldberg.
See, I thought it was... Well, not really thought. I thought they might be leading into something like the Raven Rules match. But that was more just because I'd talked about it last week on the radio. The Raven Rules match was in my head when he said that.
Yeah. But, yeah, I can understand that. It just seemed like too much like the whole Goldberg who's next thing. And with Ryback, you really need to be careful with him because he still, even after all this time, he still gets those Goldberg chants.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't won a major match in like 6 months.
Yep. Okay, so what do you think of R-Truth and Wade Barrett's match?
I'm like, I don't care because WWE apparently doesn't care about their champions.
I care because Barrett lost.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah. They're constantly having them lose.
He lost the title, won it back, and then immediately proceeds to lose again.
Yeah.
And that's the trend with him and the Intercontinental Championship. That was the same trend that Antonio Cesaro was dealing with when he had the United States Championship.
Yeah.
It was like, only time they won was when they were defending the title.
Yep. Okay, well, right now we'll cut to Dolph Ziggler's theme, Here to Show the World. And that was Dolph Ziggler's Here to Show the World theme. I'm still here with Josh, and we'll continue on with what happened on Raw. What do you think of the tag team match that was up next?
Nah, I still weep at how they have Natalya as a figure person for the Great Khali rather than the wrestler, beautiful wrestler she truly is.
Yeah. I think it was...
Other than that, this is just a comedy match.
Yeah, you at least got to see her wrestle on SmackDown in the 6-person tag. So it's better than nothing.
Yeah, at least she's on TV.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
I think that the next part, the Fandango, or however you want to pronounce his name.
Gotta breathe the A's.
Oh, sorry.
Go.
Either way, I think it's great how it's caught on, but I don't think that crowd was as into it as the last one.
No, the crowds there just were blah when it came to the type of stuff that was being done the week before.
Yes, but
they were trying, and nobody just wasn't having it.
They were always going to be overshadowed by that New Jersey crowd, because you're never going to beat that crowd.
For the record, the England crowd doesn't beat New Jersey either this week.
Fair enough. A continuation of the earlier sort of affair type thing, the Swagger taking on Ziggler. You knew Del Rio was going to have a point in this match. Surprised he waited till after.
And Dolph loses. After the euphoric win, hey, Dolph, you lose.
It was a roll-up, though, so...
It's still a loss.
It's a loss, but at least he didn't get steamrolled by his challenger.
Yeah.
Okay, then what did you think of the Sheamus Mark Henry attacks?
Well, it definitely looks like they're building a program around Mark Henry and Sheamus.
Yeah.
So I guess that would leave Orton and Big Show as well by themselves.
Fair enough. I think on
I would probably enjoy that match, to be honest. Henry's a fairly decent worker. He's been a valuable member of the roster for 15 years. And Sheamus is one of the best workers there are, period, in the company.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to CM Punk. What do you think's up with him?
I think he lost his smile. That's a clear reference to another wrestler who was once thought as being the best in the world.
Okay.
Although he preferred to be called the showstopper.
Yeah.
But that it was basically just so that he would miss this week's Raw.
Yeah, I think I don't know what's going to lead out of this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be maybe a couple weeks before we see Punk. I don't know. I'm leaning on the side of this might be him just wanting to take some time and get over.
He needs to get he needed the time off to heal a little bit.
Yeah. From
his injuries from WrestleMania and nagging injuries he had going into WrestleMania.
He can sue that table and maybe get some hospital fees there.
But that table has really messed with him the last 3 months.
Yes.
Let's see, Royal Rumble. It broke too soon.
Yep.
Elimination Chamber, it didn't break at all. And at the WrestleMania, it didn't break again.
Yep. I think they got to get on to that and figure out the right balance. But what do you think's going on between Teddy Long and Booker T here?
I think Teddy wants to be a GM again.
I think, yeah,
and he seems to be trying to undermine Booker, and that could be leading towards something that Teddy hasn't been in his entire WWE career, as far as him being in front of the camera personality, being a villain type of character.
Yeah.
Which was something he did when he was managing in the early 90s.
Yeah. I think these two definitely have some friction that's just going to keep building up. I kind of think they need to change the general manager, because both of the Authority characters are good people right now. Yeah, but when they brought back John Laurinaitis for that one night only, I had a feeling that he was going to play into this and capitalize on the friction, but I'm not sure. We haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, so I just think it's probably going to be a situation where it'll be like maybe a tag team that'll be for Teddy and a tag team that'll be for Booker T, and the winner takes over SmackDown.
Yeah, just like at WrestleMania, I think last year with John Laurinaitis and Teddy.
Yeah, but we won't get a 7-on-7.
No.
That was ridiculous.
Okay, up next, the Divas are in action, and it's actually the last match on the card. Surprised me a little bit there. But Caitlyn taking on Nikki Bella.
Well, it seems like it was a longer match than normal, because more text here.
Yeah.
It's just... Caitlyn's like, I'm finally on TV! Yay!
Yeah.
I mean, where has she been for the last 2 months?
Yeah.
She's been the Diva Champion, probably been seen twice.
Fair enough. And the Bella Twins are back to their old twin magic tricks.
Yep.
It's probably the only way they're going to win those matches. But I'm interested to see where this goes as well. I think the Bellas won. Does that mean they get the title shot, or where's it going to go?
I'll talk to you after we record on that.
Okay.
It's a spoiler from this week.
Okay, so Cena and Ryback in the ring to end up Raw. I didn't pay much attention to this, to be honest, until the Shield came out.
Yeah, it was basic. It was a basic promo, pretty much. It's just Cena says, I understand why you're doing it. I don't like it. But you want a shot at me. Be a man. Earn the shot.
Okay.
And then down comes Shield. Shield destroys Cena. Ryback stands back, pretty much laughing at him.
Yeah. Interested to... I don't know.
This is definitely turning out to be a lot more interesting of a feud between them than I thought at first.
Yes.
Because I wasn't sure whether or not they would actually allow Ryback to have any personality.
Yeah. Rather than this, I'm a machine, I'm just going to talk like a machine in one-syllable words.
Yeah. And he continues that this week.
Okay. We'll jump over to Friday Night SmackDown. The opening match is Fandango in a singles match with Santino.
The stuff with Lillian was more entertaining.
Fair enough. I think Santino and the Cobra should probably enter one of those Dancing on Ice shows. They were quite well there. But the match was completely overshadowed by the dancing and the stuff they did before it.
Well, Santino's base... He is what he is. He's a comedy guy. He's a comedy character.
Yeah.
He's there to make you laugh. and he's happy with that role.
Yeah. Okay, well, the next match was Kofi Kingston defeating Wade Barrett. So that's the second loss in a row to Wade Barrett. Again.
I don't mind that one that so much because Kofi just won the United States Championship.
Yeah, but again,
so
it was with a
roll-up. It would probably hurt him more than Wade Barrett, who has won like 5 matches in his last 30.
True. Okay, then we get Alberto taking on Swagger. Same match we saw at WrestleMania, just without the title.
Yeah. I was going to say that I'm actually more interested in next week's match on SmackDown between the two than this week's.
Okay.
Because next week's is a no disqualification match.
That'll be good to see.
Apparently they use kendo sticks, stairs, and ladders.
Fair enough. We didn't talk about it.
I've started reading some of the spoilers for SmackDown this week.
Okay. Well, we didn't talk about it, but the Shield are taking on The Undertaker and Team Hell No next week on Raw. That was announced back on Raw.
Yeah,
what do you think of that match going into it?
Yeah, it's Shield versus Undertaker and Team Hell No. Depending on where you want to go, it was ready to be the Brothers Instruction and Daniel Bryan, or the Undertaker and Team Hell No.
Yeah, I'd prefer.
That was actually something they used on Raw.
Okay.
It was actually a pretty funny segment.
It looked like it was going to be a good match. You got pretty much 6 good wrestlers. The only thing that can come out of it is a good match.
You have 2 Hall of Famers, the best wrestler in the company, and 3 of the most talented up-and-coming youngsters in the company.
Yep. Okay.
How could they mess it up?
I can't.
I mean,
well, hopefully. We'll move on.
Especially with how healthy The Undertaker turned out to be after WrestleMania.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the 6-man tag match with Carly, Hornswoggle, and Natalia taking on Primo Epico and Rosa Mendez.
Woo! Natalia wrestles. Woo!
Yeah. It was great to see her back in the ring. She didn't get much ring time, but it was a weird lead up to this match with the video package of them stealing the car park. I wasn't really... So it's like they wanted to give it a reason it was happening, and it just came off not too smart.
I was happy to see that that in the main event of SmackDown, the bad guys won.
Yeah.
That Orton and Sheamus didn't beat Big Show and Henry.
No, the two bigger guys had to win.
Better off to further their feud.
You had Mark Henry and Big Show on one team. How can they lose? Okay, well, it's been great having you here, Josh.
Alright.
And hope to see you back on the show soon.
It's always great to be on the show whenever I can be.
Yep. So a number of wrestlers had birthdays this week. Current TNA roster member Garrett Bischoff, who's a member of Aces and Eights. He's been in TNA since 2010, turns 29. Kurt Hawkins, the current WWE superstar, he's been with WWE since 2007. He turns 28. Jay Lethal, who's a 6-time TNA X Division champion and is currently with Ring of Honor. He turns 28. Legend Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He's a former WWE and WCW wrestler. He turns 56. Ezekiel Jackson, current WWE superstar. He's been with WWE since 2008. He turns 35. Tony Atlas got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006, and he's turning 69. John Cena, who's the current WWE champion after defeating The Rock at WrestleMania, has been with WWE since 2002. He turns 36. Kane, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions with Team Hell No. He's been with WWE since 1995, and he's turning 46. And last but not least, the innovator of the Lou Thez press, made famous by Stone Cold Steve Austin, Lou Thez. He passed away in 2002 at the age of 86, but it would have been his birthday if he'd still be with us. Just an update on IPW's A Decade of Impact happening this Saturday at the Linfield Rec Centre. Just announced they had the IPW Tag Team Championships are on the line in a 6-team gauntlet match. with newly formed teams and old teams coming back for one night only. TNT, the champs, are so far the only one of their opponents known is the Professional Standard, which marks the return of Joseph Kincaid teaming with James Shaw. Also, Liger has put his own cruel twist on a No Rules, No Worries match, and Elias has taken up the challenge in the No Rules, No Mercy match. Also, King Fale from New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to make the trip back over, and he's going to have a singles match with TJ Rocket. So hope you guys can make it down or up to Auckland. And yep, that's it for Wrestling Roundup with Grady Hooker on FreeFM 89.0 for the week. See you next week. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, and give it a like. Cheers.